And welcome to this week's episode of the UFO Show here on the Area 51 Sports Network. Brought to you by Bet99 Sportsbook at bet99.com. Make sure to head over to area51sportsnetwork.com/betting. Over there, we have a link. If you click that link, you can get back up to $600 off of your initial deposit. So whatever you put into the website, you can get that back up to $600 with our link. So today we do have a very special guest from the newest podcast of the Area 51 Sports Network. You know him as Mike K on Twitter at Mike K_mode, host of the Canuck Mafia podcast. So, Mike, how are you doing today?
Hey, Adam, I'm doing well, thanks. How you doing, man?
We're good over here. Yeah, it's well, as good as people in Vancouver can feel right now, and I think Andy can agree with that sentiment.
I was going to say, you don't sound too enthused. You're like you're actually doing that well, but I'm doing pretty good. Thank you for asking, Mike.
Good to hear. Yeah, it's tough times as a Canucks fan. Lots going on in the Lower Mainland with the flooding and stuff. So it's just, kind of crazy times right now, isn't it?
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, so hopefully everybody out in Abbotsford as well as in different parts of British Columbia that are affected get any type of help and resources that they need. If you do hear about any type of programs that are put out there, like I know the Canucks 50-50, the money is going to help people out in the Fraser Valley with their who are affected by the floods. Make sure to keep an eye out for those and help out wherever you can.
Exactly.
Okay, so because we don't want to spend this episode too upset all for the entire time, we're going to talk a little bit about the NFL, and we're going to start with the Thursday nighter tonight. So the New England Patriots versus the Atlanta Falcons. So New England is at minus 300 as a money line with a -7 spread. So why don't we go to you, Mike? I know that New England, it's like we always hear about the sentiment that you don't want to bet against Tom Brady or Bill Belichick, but they're really making that notion proved correct this year.
Yeah, I mean, Patriots have kind of been all over the map this year. They've been turning it around lately, though. Better record. It looks like everyone from Mac Jones, the defense is really stepping up. I think Belichick's kind of gotten to everyone now in this kind of new revamped Patriots, especially the offense. They've struggled since losing Tom Brady, and I think they've kind of figured it out with Mac Jones. So the way I see it as a Falcons fan, also on top of that, I don't like the Falcons' chances. I think that they've been below average for most of the season. They've had a few kind of surprising results throughout the year, but when I look at this game, I think the -7 on the Patriots is probably pretty low, and I would bang that heavy. I think the Patriots are going to win by more than 7. I'll look at the over/under of 47 points. I'd also bang the under on that. I just think the Falcons' offense is super out of whack right now. They have no run game. Calvin Ridley being out has really hurt their offense. Coming off an absolute beating by Dallas, so I go the under on this one. I don't think the Patriots are gonna put up too many points. I think it's going to be well under 47. So I'd bang the under. I'd bang the Patriots -7, and as a money line, you just got to go Patriots as well.
Yeah, I kind of disagree. I think this will be a low-scoring game. I agree with you there, Mike. But I don't see the Patriots running away with this one. So I actually like Atlanta to cover +7 in this game. I mean, it only pays out -110, but I think Atlanta can keep this a close game.
As a Falcons fan, I hope you're right. as someone who's been, who watches them regularly, I just right now they leave me with no confidence. The defense has been a sieve for the better parts of 3 years. I think Belichick will game plan to kind of shut down Cordero Patterson, who's really the only guy. Well, that's not true. Kyle Pitts also, but Patterson has been their biggest weapon, and I think he'll get shut down. Like I said, no run game, so it's a pretty easy offense to game plan against because you're not worried about Mike Davis's constant 2.5 yard plodding runs. Hope you're right. But yeah, I don't really see it going any other way.
Now, the Falcons are wearing their black alternates tonight. Do you form to the theory that teams play better when they look better? Like, sometimes you see, like, when the Canucks wear their black skate, they just seem to have a little bit more energy. Do you think that can play a role in the Falcons game today? Maybe they get a little bit of energy because they're wearing those throwbacks.
I don't believe in any of that. I think that they are who they are. It's like if the Canucks wore their black skate jersey tomorrow, do you expect them to not be absolute junk?
Oh yeah, they'll.
I would definitely consider them for a win.
Yeah, they will win if they wear the black skate. Like, I think that is the only way that they will win a game, and they just refuse to do it. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we need to hire you as GM, and then the only thing you have to do is get him to wear that jersey every game.
Exactly. It seems like such an easy job. Such an easy thing to do. Like, put the black skate out. The stanchion on Twitter, Wyatt Arndt always talks about it. Bring back the black skate, and this team will start winning again. Like, sometimes the decisions aren't that complicated,
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay, so let's jump into some of the closer games this week, or some of the games that we expect to be closer this week. We'll start out with the Washington football team versus the Carolina Panthers. Carolina's at -165, Washington's +145, and the spread is +3. Now, this is one of those games where the teams aren't very good, but because we have that extra spot in the playoffs, this game does have a lot of meaning to it. So who do you think is going to step up?
I like Carolina as an underdog in that one. I know Washington's coming off a big win against Tampa Bay, but they've also proven to be extremely inconsistent this year. And Carolina, Cam came in and injected some energy and confidence in that team last week. So yeah, to me, I take Carolina on the money line. I think it's tough on the spread. I think that's probably a pretty accurate spread, but I would probably have to hit Carolina on the spread as well. And the over under on 43 points, I'd go over, I think. I'd go under. Washington's got a really bad defense, but Carolina's offense hasn't been fantastic. And then conversely, Carolina's defense has been quite good. And Washington's offense hasn't been very good. So I'd probably go the under on that one too. Andy, what are your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I agree. I think, Chase Young is Washington's best defensive player. Could argue their best player on their team. He's out with a torn ACL. Cam Newton, probably you'd think get a bit more time in the pocket to stand there and throw some passes. So I agree with you, Mike. I'd take Carolina in this one.
Okay, so we'll jump over to the a game that has meaning for all the Seahawks fans. The San Francisco 49ers are the favorites at -260 over the Jacksonville Jaguars at +230. Now, the Jaguars are 2-7. the 49ers 4-5, you know, people will argue that the 49ers aren't doing well, but this feels like kind of that trap game. You know, the Jaguars aren't as bad as like they're not as bad as people think they are. They're pretty bad, but at the same time, like they have the possibility of pulling off these upsets. And we've already seen San Francisco lose in a big upset this year. So do you think that this is kind of a trap game and that Jacksonville does have a chance here?
Take that one, Andy.
I don't think Jacksonville's that good, to be honest. San Francisco has I think their defense is still a little bit underrated. I don't really like their quarterbacks, their offense, but I mean, Jacksonville is a complete tire fire. I would take San Francisco all day. I'd even, -6 only pays out -115. I'd even jump up a bit higher. And, if you take trying to find it here now, if you take -10, -9.5, I don't think this game is going to be close.
I'd agree with that for sure. I think San Fran coming off that big win against LA, the Rams, is a big confidence boost for them. Their defense finally kind of looked like what maybe we thought their defense was going to be. They really stepped it up, had at least one score, it might have been two. Really kind of silenced that Rams offense that we've come to expect to be pretty powerful. So I think that coming off that win, playing against a pretty lowly team in Jacksonville, I agree. I would hammer that -6 heavy, and I'd probably expect at least a two touchdown victory by San Fran. So if you go up to 14, why can't I get that here? Anyways, you're looking.
Yeah, sorry. San Francisco -13 pays out a +185, and -14 is not listed. So -13, 185. It's pretty good odds.
Yeah, I'd probably throw some bucks at that. I think the chances of them winning by 13, 14 points are pretty good.
Okay, so let's jump into a NFC North battle this week, the Green Bay Packers versus the Minnesota Vikings. So we got Minnesota is the underdog at +105. Green Bay is at -120. The line is -1.5 for Green Bay. This game, Green Bay, it's very hard to get a read on them. It seems like they do just enough to win sometimes. Like nobody played well last week when they played Seattle. Like neither team really was fantastic. You have a situation where Green Bay's defense isn't really stepping up to the plate. Minnesota is going to come in and they're going to be very desperate for a win. So where are you I know Andy is probably leaning more towards Green Bay here. Mike, where are you leaning?
This is one where I don't mind taking the underdog. I think Green Bay, they've been kind of strange all season. There hasn't been a ton of consistency. Rodgers looked off last week, of course, coming back from COVID. I think that there's probably quite a bit of controversy going through that whole team right now with all the Rodgers stuff and the COVID stuff. And they look a little out of sync. Minnesota's one of those teams. They have such a good offense, but sometimes they just don't show up. So you're never really sure with both these teams which team is going to show up. I'd probably take Minnesota on this one. I like to usually sprinkle in an upset or two, and I kind of saw this one as a potential upset with Minnesota being a home underdog. I like home underdogs.
Yeah, I agree. This kind of feels like the trap game to me. Minnesota needs a win. Green Bay's basically already locked up the division. Their left tackle probably isn't going to play again, which is really concerning because every week the offensive line has gotten a little bit weaker for the Packers. So, like Mike said, if you can get a home underdog +105, that seems like a good bet to me.
And let's not forget that Aaron Jones is out for this game too, right? So he's huge part of their offense. he's been a big part of the passing game too. So Rodgers really only, if Minnesota can kind of take away Devontae Adams, then I don't know. I think Minnesota has a pretty good chance in this one.
Yeah, maybe the horse tranquilizers were, playing a role in Aaron Rodgers' game last week. Who knows at this point?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's very
that's right.
positive. It kind of looked like he
the
was
ivermectin bowl.
tranquilized.
Okay, so we'll jump over here to New Orleans versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, this is another game that, because of that extra playoff spot, does have some meaning in the overall playoff picture. So we got the underdogs of the New Orleans Saints and plus 115. Philadelphia is at minus 130, and their line is minus 2.5 for Philadelphia. So what are we thinking here? I think that even though Philadelphia is the favorite and they are the home team, I think you got to go with the New Orleans Saints here.
A lot depends on Kamara's status here. Kamara's kind of, I don't know. It sounds like he's a bit 50-50. Missed practice again today, missed last week. That team runs through Kamara, right? They don't have the quarterback they used to. They don't have Michael Thomas is out. They don't have a lot of weapons on offense aside from Kamara. If Kamara's out, I'd probably take the Eagles on this one. I think it'll still be close. I think New Orleans still has a good chance even without Kamara. And if Kamara plays, I'm sure I don't know what that would do to the number, but I'd probably take right now, if I were to bet today with these odds, I'd probably take the Saints as an underdog, hoping that Kamara plays.
Yeah, I agree. Like Mike said, I think a lot of it depends on Kamara. He's their best player. I'm not a big Jalen Hurts fan. And I think New Orleans actually has a pretty good defense. So I like New Orleans here.
Okay, let's do some quick rapid fire here. We got two. I'm going to throw out 2 games, quick rapid fire. Cincinnati Bengals at Las Vegas Raiders. Big playoff implications there. Once again, Cincinnati is the favorite is the favorite at minus 115. Las Vegas Raiders at plus 100. Who are you taking in that one?
I got Raiders.
I'm going Bengals.
I think the Bengals are going to pull that one out for sure. The other quick rapid one, Dallas Cowboys, Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City is at minus 135. Dallas is at plus 120. Are you taking the Chiefs as the favorite, or are you going with the underdogs, Dallas Cowboys, who have been the better team so far this year?
Give me the underdogs on this one. Kansas City hasn't shown me enough. Last week was, sign of the first time that they kind of seemed to put it all together offensively. But I think Dallas right now is a better team. And to take any team that I think is like a better team as an underdog, let's give me that all day long.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going Cowboys.
Okay, so the last game that we will talk about today for the show, the Seattle Seahawks versus Arizona Cardinals. I don't know if we can call this a big NFC West matchup anymore. I don't know really how to describe this. Seattle is. I don't really know how to describe the Seattle Seahawks anymore. Yeah, they're 1-4 in their last 5 games. Russell Wilson. He's obviously struggling. We saw it last week. Seattle is at plus 110 as an underdog, as a home underdog. Arizona's at minus 125. And I think that the reason that this line is so close is because we still don't know the status of Kyler Murray. So do you guys think that Arizona has a chance if Kyler Murray does not play in this game?
You can start there, Andy.
Yes, I do. I like Arizona here, and I'm actually going to go off the board with some of these picks. Bet99 has a new tab here called the Parlays tab. Excuse me. So the first quarter, Arizona Cardinals to win the first quarter and total points scored being under 8 pays out at plus 375. So, for example, if it's 7-0 or 3-0, the Cardinals, they would win that bet. So, I actually like that bet. Cardinals to win the first quarter and total points scored under 8.
Yeah, for me, regardless of Kyler's status, I'd bang on the Cardinals on this one. I think they showed when Colt McCoy had to play that they're, of course he's a different player, but they have enough structure to get this win. And I don't know. Seattle doesn't show me anything all season. Even last week Russell came back and they laid up an absolute dud and got shut out. I think they're a pretty vulnerable, fragile team mentally right now. Their defense is, I don't know, it's pretty leaky. I got to take Arizona on this one.
You don't think that Jamal Adams getting an interception is going to rejuvenate this entire team?
Not enough. I think the damage has been done there. I think Arizona is just potentially the best team in the league. And even without their star quarterback, they've proven that they can kind of get it done.
Yeah, it's an interesting matchup. We may get to see former CFLer Chris Stevler as quarterback again, because I know Colt McCoy left the game with injury last week. So it's something to watch out for. One reason that I think that the Seahawks, that you should put some money on the Seahawks, is the fact that it's a backup quarterback at, what do they call it now? Lumen Field in the Seattle, in Seattle. So when you're a quarterback in Seattle, if you don't have that, big time experience, I know Colt McCoy has a lot of experience from college, but this is a different ball game. It does cause some issues with some of these quarterbacks who are inexperienced because of the noise, because of the fans and everything. So if the Seahawks can bring that level of, if the fans can bring that level, then Seattle may have a chance, because we've seen it in the past where the fans have had that big impact on the game.
I think if you're wanting to throw a parlay with like a few underdogs, they're not a bad pick, Seattle, on this one. But if you're just going outright, I'm still going to go with Arizona.
Okay, well, we're going to wrap it up there. Mike, do you want to quickly shout out all of your channels and everything where people can find you?
Yeah, for sure. So Canucks Mafia is our podcast, obviously Canucks focused. Newly a part of the Area 51 Sports Network. So we're excited for that partnership. Definitely check out what we have to say on the Canucks. Obviously, there's lots to talk about with the Canucks right now. I wish it were more positive. We'll be recording again this weekend. I think Darren will be back. He's been on a little hiatus because he had his first child, but I think he'll find some time and have enough sleep to be able to get back and record with us. So be sure to check us out at Canucks Mafia on Twitter, and Canucks Mafia on all the podcast platforms out there.
Okay, well, thank you very much for joining us. Once again, make sure to head over to area51sportsnetwork.com/betting to use our promo code link down there. Once you do that, you get whatever you put into the site up to $600. You get that as an added bonus to use on the site. Very, very great deal. And thank you to Bet99 for sponsoring the show. So for Adam and Andy, this has been the UFO Show on the Area 51 Sports Network.